I was probably the like top 1% of wealthiest college kids because, who else is making millions of dollars? And I was just an idiot, right? I bought a Mercedes,
Okay.
hard door convertible. I bought
Yep.
another Mercedes. I bought a motorcycle. I bought property in Florida, bought a house in Florida. Like I was just burnt. And then I paid off my college,
Yep.
which was cool, cash.
So that was
And then
sensible.
I also, yeah, that was the only sensible thing I did.
Ah.
And then I just paid for me and all my friends to party, you know?
As you probably
Uh,
would if I was 18 to 3 to 21, I'd probably do the exact same.
yeah, like I had unlimited cash and it was really easy for me to make. So I just covered everything. It was like the entourage in a way.
Welcome to Sales Secrets with Brandon Bornancin. On the daily, Brandon shares new secrets to help maximize sales and make more money today. Never miss a show by hitting the subscribe button now.
Hello and welcome to Sam's Business Growth Show. I'm honored, excited, and truly humbled to have Brandon Bornancin on the show and episode today. Brandon's a serial salesperson. He's done over $100 million in sales deals. He's a two-time seven-figure entrepreneur. He's gone from having millions to starting from scratch to building up a successful company once again. He's the CEO and founder of Seamless.AI, used by famous companies such as Google, Amazon, Facebook, podcast host, one of my favorite shows at the moment, Sales Secrets from the Top 1%, as well as author of the seven-figure sales system. Plus, as a fellow digital sales professional, Brandon's one of my favorite guys to follow on LinkedIn with his great content, high energy levels, and just general enthusiasm with all the sales content he puts out. Brandon, how's it going, my friend?
Hey, thank you so much, man. I truly appreciate it. Humbled, grateful to be here with you and the audience. And thanks for the awesome intro.
No worries. Thanks for joining. So we've got a fair bit of ground I want to cover today, Brandon.
I love
But
it.
let's start from the top. It would be really great to kind of learn your story. For anyone who doesn't know who Brandon Bornancin is, it would be awesome if we could learn kind of coming out of school, coming out of college, how you got into the business world, what were the steps you took into getting where you are today, leading up to starting up Seamless. If you could guide us through the journey and we could learn along the way.
Yeah, I mean, my story is just unique. Like I hated the beginning, but now I appreciate it. So my mom and dad just came from a super poor family. My mom worked two jobs, one at a grocery store, one at a bank full time. My dad worked two jobs full time in computer retail at Macy's. So they actually used to sell computers at Macy's in the retail store. And then on the weekends, he worked construction. So we just grew up like really, really poor. I remember as a kid in grade school, just getting made fun of because like my mom would buy all of our shit from garage sales. And like, I was like a small kid wearing extra large t-shirts into school. And like, I looked like like it was tough. Right. And then, my family got a lucky break when my dad was selling computers in Macy's. And funny, it wasn't called Macy's back then. It was called Maycom, the Maycom
Oh, right.
company.
Okay. Didn't know that.
So he was selling Apple computers in
Okay.
Macy's. A sales executive walks up. My dad pitches him, and he does such a good job that the sales executive at this startup called CA Technologies, Computer Associates at the time, offers him a sales internship for $22,000. And I remember like him telling me the story, goes home, pitches my mom, like, we need to get out of retail. I need to take this job, even though he was making more money selling computers in Macy's than he would with this sales internship. But he's like, I've got a good feeling that SaaS software is going to change the world. And this was in like the 1980s at the time.
Wow.
So
okay.
he takes the internship, and I don't see my dad for like 5 to 10 years. So he's CA Technologies is in Islandia, New York. So
Okay.
I'm from Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio,
Got it.
right around where LeBron James is from. And he's traveling Monday through Friday. So he'll leave Sunday and then come in Friday every week for like years of my life to sell at CA Technologies. They'd fly him out and back. And I just remember like when I would see him, he'd be selling 24/7. And then at night he'd be building these lists. And then he joined President's Club 10 years in a row, went from sales intern to VP of sales, managing hundreds of salespeople, to taking the first company to do $1 billion in sales. And
Amazing. Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
it was wild. And then he took me to one of his President's Club. And I remember I get in the room and he's got, you go, like we flew into Hawaii. We went into this big conference hall. You've got the ocean. It looked beautiful. It was amazing. And everyone was dressed in tuxes and beautiful, like red and blue dresses. And you're talking like thousands of dollars of tuxes and dresses. And they're serving like caviar and all this crazy stuff. And I remember we sat down and they were bringing out filet and lobster for dinner. And he taps me on the shoulder and he's like, hey, look around. You're never going to see more people making over $500,000 to $1 million in this room than you will in any other career. He's like, sales is the best profession in the world, you know? And I remember I asked him, I'm like, well, how'd you do it? And he's like, dude, you just got to sell 24/7. And when you're not selling, you got to be building your lists of everyone that you need to sell to. So like, that was when I was like 15, 16. I'm like, okay, I got to get into sales. Ended up applying to go to the only school in my state that had a sales college, which was Ohio University. This was really cool. I knocked 3 birds out with 1 stone.
That is cool. I mean, I don't even know if we have specific sales schools or colleges in the UK as such. We have business. But to be honest, that's not really focused on sales. And I have friends. I didn't personally go to university, but I've got friends that did that. But it's never kind of fully geared on sales. But no, you carry on going. Yeah, no.
So this was like 2004. So it was brand new. Like there were only a few schools that were specializing in the business school to launch a sales college in the business college. And it was called the Ralph and Lucy Shea Sales Center. So, and what was cool is it was the #1 business school. It was the #1 sales school, like in my state. It was the #1 business school in my state, #1 sales school, like nationally. And then it was the #1 party school nationally. So I'm like, okay, I get all 3 done. So then when I went there, I was big into online poker and I was like, I got to figure out something to sell. My dad said, you got to work hard. You got to build lists of the things that you need to sell. And then you got to love a product that you want to sell. So I'm like, well, I love poker. Online gambling was huge in the US in 2004. This was right when World Series of Poker hit. So I ended up cold calling and building a list of all the poker companies. I pitched them to pay me $150 per poker player. They said no. They're like, I'll pay you $100 if you recruit poker players to join. I'm like, yes, absolutely. And then I built like a crawler scraper of all the people in my dorm room to build this list, right? Because like my dad said, you got to have the list. So I built this list of all the college students in my dorm room using this web crawler scraper I developed. And then I mass emailed all of them to join Party Poker, Poker Stars, Full Tilt Poker. I also went dorm room to dorm room knocking on doors. Long story short,
so you worked as was that kind of like an affiliate of Party Poker? Yeah. You were kind of doing work for them.
So I built an entire affiliate company for Party Poker, Full Tilt Poker, Poker Stars, Party Gaming. There's a lot of different companies.
Okay. So I you just took something you're interested in as a kind of hobby and kind of made that into a kind of side business whilst you were learning?
Yeah. So I did it first to fuel like me getting my ass kicked in poker. And then like it just started printing cash and I was like, this is exactly what I want to sell. So that first year it did $1 million. Second year it did 3 million. And then third year it did 6 million. So, you know, throughout my freshman and junior year, I made roughly 10 million in sales. And then they made online gambling illegal in the US. So, took all my money and just went in and launched a second company. I thought text message marketing.
Okay, just swinging back to when you were still doing the poker business at that kind of age. So you were 16 through to 18 or so?
No. So college in the US, I don't know how it is where you're at, but I was 18, 19, 20, and 21.
Even so, that's still pretty young, especially to be earning that kind of high level of cash. So
yeah.
What were you doing when you were earning that?
You still have expenses with ads and stuff, right? I've got to hire salespeople. I've got to hire ads.
Sure.
So you still have expenses. You're not taking all of that cash home, but I mean, I was probably the like top 1% of wealthiest college kids because, you know, who else is making millions of dollars? And I was just an idiot, right? I bought a Mercedes, hard door convertible. I bought another Mercedes. I bought a motorcycle. I bought property in Florida, bought a house in Florida. Like I was just and then I paid off my college. Which was cool, cash.
So that was sensible.
And then I also, that was the only sensible thing I did. And then I just paid for me and all my friends to party, you know?
As you probably would if I was 18 to 3 to 21, I'd probably do the exact same.
Yeah, like I mean, like I had unlimited cash and it was really easy for me to make. So I just covered everything. It was like the entourage in a way. So that was really fun. But then again, they made online gambling illegal.
Okay.
So the cash tapped out. Not tapped out, sorry. The market just stopped. It disappeared in the US. So this was in flip phones. I was 21 to 22. 2007. I'm like, flip phones, text message marketing is going to be the future. So we launched this text message marketing B2B software. And for the next 3 years, I end up losing everything I ever made because we didn't know how to build a list of all the B2B companies and contacts that we needed to sell to. And number two, we didn't know how to sell to the B2B contacts and companies or text message marketing software because poker was B2C. Like I was selling online poker to college students. Like I knew who they were. I knew how to relate to them. I knew how to find them. I knew how to pitch them. When I decided to sell text messaging software to Starbucks, Victoria's Secrets, Walmart, Vitamin Water, like I closed a few accounts. Like I closed Rockstar Energy, Vitamin Water. Who else? Dairy Queen. Like I closed these national accounts, which was cool, but we didn't know how to make millions of dollars in sales because we couldn't build the list of all these marketers at all of these Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 accounts. And we ended up losing over the next 3 years everything we ever made on the poker business. And that's when we decided to sell the company, get out of it. And then my partners and I, go ahead.
Yeah. So when you say you couldn't kind of build a list, does that mean the market that you drilled down into was too niche? Or what was the reason behind that exactly?
We just didn't know B2B sales. Like we didn't know how to build a list of B2B contacts, like the B2B marketers. We didn't even, like LinkedIn was just really starting out. And we just didn't know how to find these B2B marketers and these contacts at these companies that we needed to sell to. And then even if we did build a list, we didn't know how to pitch this $50,000, $100,000 software to these people. Like, and then also why would a company like Walmart or Starbucks or Victoria's Secret spend $100,000 with a bunch of 22-year-olds when there's similar companies like us who are venture backed with 20 million with 40-year-old vets selling this complex software? Like it was just a very hard market. It was a hard pitch, a hard niche to go after. And no one was spending any money in 2007 in text message marketing. So it was a mix of not having the list, not knowing how to pitch it, the list, and then very difficult market and too young to actually sell it. So that business fails. My partners go to IBM Interactive to build software products in digital marketing. Like we were selling 7-figure websites. They're like, hey, you should join us at IBM. It's sweet. It's got a big name. It's an easy sell. So I'm like, I need to get out of mobile. I joined them at IBM. And then after a few years selling for IBM, we sold tens of millions of dollars. Decided to go to Google, sell for Google's top search agency. And then I brought all my former partners at IBM over with me. We kind of jumped from place to place to place together. And then when we were selling for Google, we're like, we need to sell to every top paid search marketer and company in the world. So we ended up building a crawler and scraper that figured out the companies that were spending the most in PPC. Then we built a search engine to find all of the digital marketers at these companies. And then we built an AI engine to research emails and cell phones for all these people at the companies spending the most in PPC. Because we knew, like my dad, the way that he built the first $1 billion SaaS company in the world. No company in the world has ever built $1 billion B2B SaaS company. My dad said it was simple. You got to build the list every day, and then you got to sell 24/7 to that list. My first company, Free 50 Now for the gambling industry, I built a scraper that built the list. We emailed and sold to that list, generated millions. My second company completely failed, lost everything I owned over the course of 3 years, longest years of my life, because we didn't have the list. So when we were selling for IBM and Google, we're like, we need the list. The list is everything. So that's when we built these we noticed when we would buy that we would spend like $500 to $1 million on these sales databases. These sales databases, like they would have 2,000 marketers, and then we'd look on LinkedIn and there'd be like 4 million. And we're like, what the hell? How's there 4 million on LinkedIn and then there's 2 million in the database?
So when you say you're spending this money on databases, is this at IBM or is this when you're at
This
Google?
is at IBM and Google. So like
Wow.
when I
Does
joined
that still
IBM,
go on?
I knew I needed the list. So, we bought lists from D&B, DiscoverOrg, ZoomInfo,
Sure.
Redbooks is another one. So we like back then these databases are so expensive. So I had to pitch my president, my CEO, my chairman, hey, I need all this money to get the list. Then I buy the databases and we log in and it's got 5% of our total addressable market. Like I said, there's 4,000 on LinkedIn or in the database, there's 4 million on LinkedIn. I've got screenshots of it too. I remember the day when I did the comparison. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm going to get fired because I just told my CEO and chairwoman, I need $500,000 to $1 million to buy these databases to contact all these digital marketers, and they're
Oh,
missing
wow.
everyone. Because the salesperson, with these outdated sales databases, they'll tell you whatever you want to hear. Like, oh yeah, we've got everyone. We've got these titles. We've got these directors. We've got these VPs, these CEOs. And in reality, they don't have anyone. Or like they've got a few people, and of those few people, 50% have phone numbers and emails, and most of them are wrong or outdated, or they left the company, you name it.
Oh
So
yeah, I
then,
can speak from experience as well, kind of, especially in kind of business development, sales, various roles I've had. The amount of data that you get is kind of a poor quality and doesn't have all the up to date info. So it's quite a grind, especially when cold calling or cold emailing or whatever you're doing to prospect.
exactly, man, exactly. Like you get it. And then you're spending 4, 5, 6 hours a day building account lists, building contact lists, manually entering in thousands of rows from Excel into Salesforce, your CRM. And then you got to scour millions of websites looking for emails and phone numbers. And I'm like, the one thing that is wasting all of my time from selling, the one thing that is holding me back from making 6 figures in sales, 7 figures in sales, you name it, is all this time wasted on building this list. I was like, I got to automate it. So we
Got it.
built Seamless.AI, our prototype, and eventually went from a few $1 million in sales to like quickly overnight, doing over $100 million in sales. And that was the first time I made over 6 figures in 1 month of commission check,
So you built this tool.
$137,000. Yeah.
That's an amazing figure, by the way.
Mhm.
So you built this tool whilst you were at Google
Yeah.
selling
Well,
ads.
so I had the idea at IBM. I'm like, I'm wasting all this time fucking creating these manual lists. This is so stupid. And I would also waste a lot of time on pitch prep. Like if you're
Okay.
pitching a $1 million deal, a $10 million deal, a $25 million deal, you have to do a ton of research on the contacts and the companies and a ton of research on the decision makers, on their 10Ks, on their projections, on their business needs, their requirements, their growth, the demand, the risks, the competitive landscape, the industry landscape, digital marketing research on web technologies, what they're doing, what their competitors are doing. This would take me like weeks to do this pitch prep. So I'm like, I got to automate the pitch prep. I got to automate building the contact lists for all these companies that I want to sell to. So I built this prototype. I studied programming, and then I also worked with a lot of really smart engineers. Obviously, selling for IBM and Google, you've got the smartest engineers in the world. So I
Yeah,
basically
that'll
said, hey
help.
guys, here's the architecture and the wireframes for like, I was like, we need to build a platform like a search engine like Google. We could type in a title at a company and get the real-time contacts that work with that current title at the current company. I just wrote a check for $500 to $1 million. And the problem with all these outdated sales databases, they hold salespeople hostage because they don't have the current people with the current titles at the current companies. They're missing 90% of the people you need to sell to. And then when you call and email them, they have the wrong contact info 50% of the time. So I'm like, we got to build a search engine that makes it easy as hell to search the entire digital web, all the current titles at the current companies. And then we got to build an AI engine like what IBM built with Watson, where we can research, validate, and verify perfect emails, cell phones, and insights by real-time researching billions of data points. And it took a year to build, and then another year to build, and then another year to build. Like it took some time to build this thing, but
Got it.
once we
So
had it perfect, our sales skyrocketed selling for IBM and Google. And then I became a self-made millionaire in sales as a W-2 employee. And that's when I was like, okay, when I got the 6-figure commission check and I made it over $1 million that year, that was when I knew my mission was now. I gotta take this platform, and instead of keeping it a secret for myself, which is what was my plan. I was like, I do not want to tell anyone about this secret weapon. I was like, this is my gold mine.
That was going to be my next question,
thing.
actually.
Like,
I was going to say, like, it sounds like from what you've described so far, from when you were kind of working at Google, pretty successful, having some amazing months in terms of kind of sales revenue and obviously commission checks. It sounds like you were scratching your own itch, really, because you were spending, or the company, you had to pitch the company to spend kind of 500K, 1 mil on data sheets that were then only giving about 5% accurate data, which is terrible. And then you built this system or this tool that was giving you kind of decent data that was allowing you to kind of sell $1 million or so in 1 month. And that helped you kind of build the idea for Seamless, did it? Or what happened next?
Yeah, no, well, I mean, the pain of writing the $500 million check and being lied to that all these sales databases would have all the marketers I need to sell to. And then in reality, they had 4,000, LinkedIn had 4 million. I'm like, I just got totally scammed. And then I spent so much time and effort manually building the account list, the contact list, manually entering in all the data to the CRM, scouring millions of websites, looking for emails and phone numbers. I'm like, this is so stupid. I was like, we're sending people to the moon. Like, we have a Google search engine. We've got IBM Watson that can answer any question in the world. We've got Google that can research anything in real time. Someone needs to create a search engine that could find everyone that you need to sell to. And that was when I was at IBM, and I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to be the idiot that makes that thing, but that thing needs to be built. And then I went to Google, and I'm like, I cannot do, like, no one fixed the problem with these outdated sales databases. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to build it to sell faster. And I built parts of Seamless. Like, I built the search engine first to find all the people that you need to sell to with the current title of current company. And then I built the AI engine to research, validate, and verify perfect emails, cell phones, and insights. And then when you combine the two was when we did over 100 million. I became a self-made millionaire. And that's when I'm like, you know, I remember I was at a conference. It was actually just a poker event, not even a conference. I was at a poker event in Vegas.
Yeah.
With my buddy Steve, and we were staying at the Cosmopolitan, and we were hungover Friday because we went out Thursday to, you know, played poker, won a bunch of money, and then went out.
Has to be done if you're in Vegas.
And Friday at the Cosmopolitan, you know, it's early, 9 a.m. my time on Las Vegas time, and then my company, you know, they were operating East Coast time. I get a call from the accountant. They're like, hey, how do you want your, you know, we owe you $137,000 commission. How do you want that sliced up? And like, you know, anytime you're getting a call from your accountant, you think that there's a problem with your commission because salespeople, everyone loves to try to screw with salespeople's commission. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got a call and they're like 137,000. I'm like, you mean like 10,000 or 13,000? I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, you mean like 13,000? And Chris is like, she's our accountant. She's like, no, you sold so much and you were in back-to-back pitches and you closed all these deals. So we owe you $137,000 this month in commission. How would you like that sliced up? I recommend we pay it out over the course of the next 3 to 5 months. And I said, like, I never had a commission check like that in selling, right? Like I made that.
You know how to respond.
Yeah. You know, like I never thought I would make millions of dollars again like I did when I was 18, 19, 20. I just thought I got really lucky. And then when I did it in sales, you know, I almost broke down crying. Like I was at a loss for words because I was just in back-to-back pitches and I was traveling and I was closing so many deals. My calendar was packed full because I automated all of my list building, my CRM data entry, my appointment setting work. Like it just didn't hit me yet, like how much pipeline and how many deals I won. And then when she called me, I'm like, I like went blank. And she's like, Brandon, you there? Like, Brandon, you there? And like my buddy Steve, like he was to the right of me. He's like, yo, dude, you okay? You look like you're about to cry. And I'm like, dude, I was like,
it just,
you know, when you get a call that you just made $137,000 without your salary, like, and then I got paid my salary on top of that. I just remember I was like, dude, this changed my life forever.
I bet.
And I want to help every salesperson, marketer, entrepreneur, recruiter in the world change their life forever. And I had this epiphany of like, I want to create more. I want to take Seamless and share it with the world and create more 7-figure salespeople. I want to create more 6-figure salespeople, make all these people make over $1 million in sales, and people make over 6 figures in sales. And right when I got home after Vegas, I partied again really hard that night, obviously. Like,
How old were you then, Brandon?
man, 24, 25. I don't even know.
And
I
you're how
think
old now?
God, 33.
Oh, only a few years older than me.
Yeah, it was I was 24, 25, I think. Like, I don't remember the exact year. I could look it up.
Yeah, sure.
It's funny. I don't even remember how old I am. I'm just going so fast that I don't know what day it is. I don't know what month it is. But yeah, it was about 24, 25. And that's when I knew I had to go all in on building Seamless. So I started like really developing it still, like while I'm working full time, taking my cash, putting it into building Seamless. And then when it was ready, went full time in 2015. And then it took years to build. And then we launched it in 2018. And, quickly went from zero to helping, almost 100,000 sales teams and marketers and entrepreneurs, and generate over $1 billion in sales. And it's just been a wild, wild journey. And we're on a mission to empower the world to connect opportunity. And we want to create more millionaires and 6-figure earners in sales than any other software out there.
So you basically had one of the biggest sales months of all time. Certainly one of the biggest sales months that I've heard of. I don't know if it's one of the best of all time, but I know it must be up there. And it sounds like that really shook you up. That really kind of knocked it out of you.
Yeah, because I knew I was going to make over $1 million a year. And that was like the first year I've ever done that again, like compared to what I did when I was an entrepreneur. And I didn't think I'd ever be able to do that again. And if I could do it in sales, I believed anyone in the world could do it. They just need the lists, and they need to put in the work, and then they need the training. And with the right lists and the right scripts and the right training, you can do anything.
Yeah.
And that's why we launched Seamless. And then I was like, okay, now that you've got the lists, you need the scripts. So I basically took all the scripts that I've ever wrote. I wrote 10,000 pages worth of scripts. I became a scripts maniac.
And when you say scripts, for anyone that doesn't understand, are you talking about kind of cold calling scripts, cold email scripts?
Yeah, like sales scripts, like cold calling scripts, cold emailing scripts, social selling scripts, list building scripts, sales objection scripts. I'm not interested, no budget, it's too expensive. Send me more information. Already working with someone. I need to talk to my boss. What's your guarantee? How much does it cost?
The ones every salesperson loves to hear, right?
Yeah, exactly. So like, yeah, I knew once you had the lists, like if you could find anyone's emails and phone numbers for everyone that you need to sell to at any company in the world, you could become rich. And that's why we launched Seamless. And then once you had all the lists, the 7-figure sales lists, you need the scripts. And that's why we wrote 15 books, the 7-figure sales system. So if you go on Amazon, we put all of our books on Amazon, the 7-figure sales scripts. And from there, we're just now, like today, we're just on a mission to create 1,000 millionaires and 10,000 people earning 6 figures in sales with the power of Seamless and the power of our 7-figure sales system.
Awesome, man. That's an amazing story. And it sounds like you've always kind of had that, because a lot of people, I'm sure, would be just content, especially doing a $1 million kind of dollars in 1 month and then getting that size commission check. A lot of people may be content, but it sounds like you've always had that entrepreneurial spirit inside of you to kind of kick off this idea while scratching your own itch, whilst fixing your own pain with the data and building your own tool. You've kicked that off into business in 2018, starting.
Well, it was tough too. Like I knew I would never probably be able to earn more than like 1.5 to 2 million in sales. Like eventually they will, like eventually people higher than, like I was making more money than my CEO. That like there's than my chief revenue officer. Like you make so much more, eventually the people higher up that see you making all this money will try to change your commission structure. And I'm like, the only way for me to earn more is by going full-time on my own thing. And I love helping like I loved helping the advertisers make more money with Google ads. Like, I loved selling Google ads and search marketing because like I truly believe like if you put $1 in the machine, we can help you make 2, 3, 5, 10. It's all math. It's easy. Like, let me show you how. We've done it for thousands of companies and brands. So it's like really easy. I was so sold on it. And then like when Seamless changed my life forever, and I'm like, I'm not that smart of a guy. I was like, if I could do it, anyone in the world could do it. And that's when I was like, instead of helping Google and IBM and all these big companies and advertisers make a shitload of money, what if I could help the world make millions of dollars? Well, like, what if I could help every salesperson make over 6 figures in sales, make over 7 figures in sales by helping all these people get rich? I'm going to get rich helping them get rich. And it's a massive win-win. So that's when I was like, okay, I know what I need to go all in on. The motivation comes from like, there's 2 stories with the motivation. I remember exactly. Like, number 1, getting made fun of as a kid. Like,
okay,
because we were so poor, we always ate shitty food out of cans. And like, I don't want to harp on this, but like anyone that's grown up poor, where you're eating out of canned foods, and like the canned foods are the most unhealthiest types of food, like canned beef, 4D, like just the nastiest.
Or baked beans.
Spam.
I don't know if you guys have baked beans over there, do you?
Yeah, like baked beans and spam and hot dogs. Like, this food is so bad for you and so nasty. And I just remember as a kid, like eating shitty and like the shitty clothes and always getting made fun of. Like, I think that motivated me. Like, I have to I never want to get made fun of. I never want to be poor ever again. And then this is a story I've never told. This is an exclusive for you, Sam.
Here we go.
I remember in high school, I started dating this chick named Kate. Kate Fergus, if you're listening, out of Avon, Ohio.
I'll have to search you on LinkedIn after this.
So 15 years old, I fall in love with this girl named Kate. And like, this was before my dad was getting like super rich from being a top salesperson and building the first $1 billion company. We were like going from lower class to middle class. And Kate's family was super ultra wealthy. And like, we were poor. She was rich. Her family didn't want her to date me because we were poor. And I remember like after dating a while, like they forced her to break up with me. That had a big impact on me when I was like 15. I'm like, dude,
that's tough, man.
I'm like, I was in love with this person. And now like I'm 10X in love with my fiance, Danielle. But it's like a crazy story where like, someone breaks up with you because you're poor, at that age, like you think you're going to marry him and you're in love, blah, blah, blah. And I just remember I remember going into my, whatever they call it, like, I don't even remember, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, whatever they call it before college.
Sure.
I'm like, dude, I'm going to go into sales like my dad. I'm going to crush it. I'm going to make so much money that they wish, they never had Kate dump me. And then like, I just always had this chip on my shoulder of like something to prove from being so poor that I got to do something different. I got to give it my all and I got to go crush it. And I think that's where a lot of my motivation comes from, was like my dad going from poor to rich and him always telling me like, if you go into sales, you could accomplish anything in life as long as you build the list, as long as you sell to that list 24/7 and work your ass off. And then just from like, luckily, growing up poor, like getting made fun of, getting persecuted as a kid, like I'm thankful for that stuff. I don't regret it because I wouldn't be as motivated as I am now. I wouldn't be as hungry. I wouldn't be as like, just to prove myself that I can maximize my own potential and change the world.
Yeah, man. So it sounds like those 2 things were a big driving factor in kind of why you put in the work day in, day out, and kind of how you've got to where you are today.
And then the mission changes, like you got to be mission oriented. Like instead, like what I do today isn't because I was broke when I was like as a kid. It's just those little things at those different times push you and motivate you and inspire you. And then you do something for that reason. And then you find another reason. And, the most money I made was focused around helping people make the most amount of money. When I was selling for IBM and Google, I was so obsessed with helping these advertisers and these companies maximize their sales and make more money than they ever dreamed of. Like I was so sold on just doing whatever it took to help them win and make more money than ever and maximize their ROI. Like that's when I became the richest. And like with Seamless, I'm so all in on helping our users and our audience maximize their sales. And I'm the richest I've ever been at the company, personally, professionally, and the most fulfilled. And I think like if you've got a big mission, our mission is to positively impact 1 billion people, empower the world to connect to opportunity. I think like what you do in life, if you have a big mission to change the world and to positively impact the world, that's the most important. Like I don't do anything for money now. Like I don't care about the cars. I don't care about the houses. I don't care about anything. I care about really just these landmark like social impact change. Like I want to create 1,000 millionaires, then I want to create 10,000 millionaires, then I want to create 100,000 millionaires, then I want to create 1 million millionaires.
Awesome, man. And I think what you're doing is really, really great, especially considering you've kind of proven the strategy or the system that you have can work, and you're kind of helping other people to to succeed in sales, really, which is a great business in my opinion. That's cool. So I mean, when you started Seamless, kind of going back to when you started the business back in 2018, I believe you said.
So we launched the product in 2018.
Okay, you launched in 2018. So you're probably working on the tool beforehand.
Dude, it took years to build the search engine, the Seamless real-time B2B search engine and AI engine. It took years and it was hell. And we almost went bankrupt year after year. For the first 2 to 3 years, like you almost go bankrupt because like you're building something, you have no customers. So then we like manually built lists for people. Like while we're building this list, this platform, the world's fastest and most accurate list building platform of all time, our search engine, like while you're building that, you have to make money. So then we just manually built sales lists for people.
Got it.
Because like we were using parts of our technology to build, like, because it was never like ready for the public. So we would use parts of our technology to build these manual data sheets, you called it, these data lists. And then we would go sell that while we're trying to build this platform. And then, it takes forever to build it takes millions of dollars and years to build, what we've built. And I'm lucky to survive and thrive through that experience.
Yeah, man. I mean, a tool like that must, like you've described, must have taken hours of blood, sweat, and tears, and just grinding it out. You're talking like tens of thousands of hours and tens of millions of dollars. So when you started, was it just yourself, or did you have a co-founder or a first sales guy?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I had the idea, and then I hired a few developers, and then I hired my first salesperson, my VP of sales, Mike Hopkins. And Mike Hopkins has been there from the beginning, with me side by side. Austin, my VP of technology, has been there. He came in halfway through. We were building, thank God. He's a blessing. And then my VP of product, Jake worked with me at IBM, at Google, and at Immobile, and at our poker company. So all these guys, we've known each other from these different businesses. And like the problem is the older you get, the less risk you can take. So when I went all in on Seamless, it was high risk. Barely could pay anyone. All the money's in the company. Like it was high risk. So all of these guys that I built companies with and worked with in the past, now they've got houses, they've got families. Like they can't just quit, make little, like no salary and then join Seamless. But luckily, we started gaining traction and I was able to pay them finally. And then, Mike worked on commission forever, $25 an appointment commission forever. And then, we finally started closing deals, and then I was able to pay him more and pay him more and pay him more and pay him more. And then we were able to build a big team. And so now we're a team of about 55, 60 people, since launching. It was like 5 people in 2018. And then the past 2 years, we've grown. First year was like 1,000%. And then second year was 500, 600% growth. And my goal now is to 5X, 500% growth the company, go from 50 to 60 employees to 250 by the end of the year. And by the end of this year, we want to create 1,000 millionaires, 10,000 people earning 6 figures in sales.
Amazing. Amazing. So when it was just kind of a few of you, you and your friend, and it sounds like quite a lot of your guys that you recruited, you knew from back in college or previous roles or previous jobs, and you've kind of linked back up with them for Seamless. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome, man. That's kind of
It
like
took a
our
while to it took a while to sell them to join me. I mean, like they knew I would do, like they knew who I was and I would pull it off. But again, like they couldn't leave 401ks and really high paying salaries until I had like proved product market fit and had some traction.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense if they've got secure jobs and they've got families, they've got bills
Because
to
like I
pay.
didn't raise venture capital funding at the beginning. I just used all my cash that I made using Seamless to sell. But then when I went full time on Seamless, like you lose that salary, you lose the commission that you used to be making. So it was like, okay, I've got hundreds of thousands of dollars, to play with and pay people with, but not like millions. So, if I could go back in time, I would have raised a few $1,000,000 right from the beginning. But, everything happens for a reason. We built the product really strategically, really smart. We couldn't make wrong product decisions because we didn't have any money to lose. So you have to be laser focused and obsessed with like, what are the customer needs? So you don't build shit that no one wants to maximize sales. And we lasered in on that to ensure that we build the world's fastest, most accurate list building platform of all time.
Amazing. So Brandon, on this show, we like to talk about how, as well as learning your story, we like to talk about how digital marketing has helped you along the way. So in terms of kind of building up Seamless, how would you say that digital's played a role in that? Because I know you guys love to cold call and set appointments, but there's many other channels you use. So could you tell me a bit more?
Yeah. So, for IBM and Google, we always sold a multi-channel marketing approach. And I think for sales, for marketing, you need a multi-channel, omni-channel approach. You got to use all the channels and you just have to maximize the ROI on all of them. So I've always been an omni-channel salesperson, using calling and emailing, right, of course, but then using social selling and LinkedIn, using content, using email marketing, using retargeting on Facebook, on Google, on LinkedIn, using Google ads, using Facebook cold ads, using long form ads. You got to use using text message marketing, direct mail. You got to use all the channels to get in front of your prospects and deliver value to them with a strong call to action. And omni-channel, multi-channel prospecting, selling, marketing is the key. And then you measure the CAC, the cost to acquire customer per channel. And your goal is to just maximize the scale of each channel, right? Like how many customers can I acquire with this channel, this channel, this channel, but then also minimize the cost to acquire customer per channel. So it's like you want to increase the volume and you want to lower the cost to acquire.
Makes sense.
And it's been critical. I mean, multi-channel marketing, the reason why we've been able to grow 1,000% is because of multi-channel marketing and selling.
And would you say a lot of businesses are naive to omni-channel?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I sold digital advertising my whole career, right? So like Sam, I know you sell digital advertising, and like, if you're not on the first page of Google, if you're not in the first 3 results, no one's going to find you. I think 93% of traffic visitors visit the first 3 search results. So the only way to win the market share there is like, okay, you got a badass organic SEO, or you have to be advertising with Google ads. So that's one of the things. Like, people don't realize the importance of marketing, the importance of selling. Like, the reason why businesses fail is because not enough people know that they exist or that they've got a solution that could solve their pain points. The only way to share your message with the world, your product with the world, is you need the list, right? And then you need to advertise, market, and sell to that list.
And Brandon, do you think every company can have a list, no matter what sector you're in, no matter what your business offers?
I mean, yeah, it'd be like asking, like, does every company have customers? Like, yeah, absolutely. I think B2B is a lot easier than B2C. Like, building a list of consumers is a lot harder than building a list of B2B contacts.
Yeah,
but nowadays,
especially in the UK, we have something called the GDPR.
Yep.
So that cold calling stuff is tricky business. It's well-regulated business, especially in B2C, business to consumer. B2B, not so bad. I speak a little bit from experience because I used to work in data and lead sales before I was in digital marketing. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I know that kind of stuff.
The regulations, like, fun. Like, I don't touch B2C.
Yeah.
That was my first company. I think I struck gold in poker and online gambling. And then I just think selling B2C is just, you got to have the right product. And I've always been a B2B guy ever since. And, in B2B, you've got Seamless, you've got all this digital data. Everyone's so open to sharing information about themselves publicly on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Google, everywhere, on blogs, websites, you name it, to where you could aggregate all this data. And if you have the right platform to do that, and then learn so much about the people and the companies that you need to sell to, and then how to contact them, to where it's a game changer. You could easily sell to them. And you got to do both though. You got to do the selling and you got to do the marketing. And to do either of those, you need the list. And then once you have the list, you use all the channels. Too many people say like, oh, you only selling works. And then I meet a ton of people, oh, only marketing works. And it's like, you need both. It's not one versus the other. It's how do I leverage it all? And how do I maximize the scale, all the customers acquired, while I minimize the cost to acquire a customer?
Got it. All about measuring it as well, by the sounds of it.
Yeah. And the attribution around that is a pain in the ass, but that's another story.
Okay, Brandon. So do you have a favorite digital marketing channel? You've talked about utilizing an omni-channel approach, but is there one specifically?
Performance marketing, hands down. So like in digital advertising, performance marketing, when I say performance marketing, Google ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads. Google is typically going to be the cheapest. Well, Facebook is going to be the cheapest, then Google, then LinkedIn. It all depends on your audience and what you've got going on. But I'm a big fan of Google, Facebook, LinkedIn advertising, and also social media. Leveraging social media. We get 1 million views a month on all of our content because we went all in on social media and we went all in on paid advertising. And if you've got an amazing product that you fully believe in and you could change a lot of people's lives, I think doing the digital advertising and the social media is pretty easy.
Yeah, man. And you say, one question on that side of things, you say like Facebook ads, and for companies that sell to other companies, so B2B, is Facebook that great in terms of, because I always thought Facebook was B2C.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Facebook's amazing. I mean, everyone spends so much time on Facebook. Everyone spends so much time browsing the web, where Google Display Network's incredible. Everyone's spending time on LinkedIn, where LinkedIn retargeting is incredible, to where like you want your ads and you want your message to be wherever your prospects are at.
Of course.
And like if your prospects are on Facebook, show them ads. If their prospects are on websites, show them Google Display Network ads. If your prospects are on LinkedIn, show them LinkedIn ads. If they're on YouTube, show them YouTube ads. So figure out where your prospects visit and then show them ads wherever they go.
Amazing. Okay. So Banner, moving back to your business, I'm aware we're getting kind of closer to time, so I don't want to take too much of your time today. I know you're a busy man. It'd be great to know kind of what have been your business high points and low points. Let's focus on Seamless for now.
Yeah. So the low points are always the most interesting. We never had a problem with sales. Like the product's amazing. People always wanted to buy the product. I had a hard time fundraising. It was like the only deal that was hard for me was venture capital fundraising. And, we knew like when you're building a Google for salespeople, we're building basically a Google and IBM combined, which is a very cost expensive software. Seamless, the world's fastest, most accurate list building platform of all time. Our search engine finds emails and cell phones for anyone in the world that you need to sell to. Like building that is going to take $10, $20 million. It's going to take a lot of money. So, 2017, right before we launched the product, we needed a fundraise because we were running out of cash. And I prospected and pitched over 337 venture capitalists. So when I logged into my Salesforce, I had a VC check mark in my CRM, and I saw that I met with and pitched over 337 VCs.
Whoa.
And angel
investors.
Of
how much time?
Probably 2 years. over
Okay.
2 years. Like since I had the idea of Seamless till a year before launch, I was trying to pitch anyone and everyone that had money so that I could get funding to fuel this dream, to fuel this amazing platform to change the world.
Yeah, I
And
think I
like,
remember seeing a post from you on LinkedIn saying that was one of the toughest kind of
yeah,
targets you've ever pitched.
yeah, I did that post a long time ago, and I'm trying to find that post so I could like repost the video because I went super deep into it.
Okay.
But pitching a venture capitalist and them telling you no, like, is very hard because they don't just tell you no. They're like, Brandon, like, you know, you don't look right. You're not from the right city. You don't have the right education. You don't have the right team. You're not located in the right spot. You didn't study computer science at MIT. Like, they break you down. You're not in the right market. You're not smart enough. Your team's not smart enough. You're not great enough. Your product sucks. Your idea sucks. Like, they tear you down.
Sounds like a show we have in the UK called Dragon's Den. I don't know if you've heard of that, but
I haven't heard of it,
it's
but if it's brutal,
it's brutal,
that
man. It's basically entrepreneurs going in front of 3 or 4 kind of well-established business
that's
people.
kind of like Shark
And
Tank here.
yeah, it's like Shark Tank. They pitch the idea and they just, if they don't like it, they rip it to pieces. And yeah, it's tough, man. That sounds exactly like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was like going on the Dragon's Den or Shark Tank and them just throwing eggs at you, though, like for 20 minutes, telling you why you're going to fail. And like you hear that 337 times. Like, now, luckily, I closed 45 investors, bunch of VCs, bunch of angel investors. So, like, I don't know the math. You do the math, 337 minus 45, whatever that is, 290 or something around there.
Sure.
You know, when you hear 290 times why you're going to fail, it messes with you psychologically, it messes with you mentally. And you have to dig down deep and just say, no matter what, I'm going to keep going. No matter what, I'm going to keep giving it my all. No matter what, I will not quit. And that was like the lowest point in time over the course of a few years, trying to fundraise, trying to get money, everyone telling you no. And then because you'll start to question yourself. You're running out of money. You're going broke. You're still like every year you're trying to build this thing. You're so close, but you just need more engineers and more funding. And you're so close, but you're not there yet. And you can't launch yet. And that was really hard. My highs have been every day. Every month we get hundreds of testimonials from people, the lives that we've changed. Like I was able to buy my dream car, my dream house, my dream vacation, my dream college for my kid. My mortgage is paid off because of you. I'm able to put food on the table because of you. Like, I've been able to make 6 figures in sales because of you. I've been able to make 7 figures in sales because of Seamless. I closed this $1.5 million deal that made me $120,000 in commissions. Like, hearing that every month, hundreds of times a month, that's been our largest high point. And that's why we launched this award called the 6-Figure President's Club Award and the 7-Figure Award.
Yeah, I saw some videos for that on LinkedIn. It looks like a pretty cool idea.
It's a massive award.
Okay.
And so when you make over $100,000 in sales using Seamless, we ship you this award, this massive Grammy award. And then when you make 7 figures in sales, we send you the same award, but it's a platinum silver award. And that's what really fuels us. And that's our mission of hey, we want to do 1,000 millionaires, 10,000 people earning 6 figures in sales, ship everyone the awards. And that's really the goal.
Amazing. No, that's cool. And it sounds like that was quite a grind, kind of pitching to all those venture capitalists.
It was terrible. It was the worst time of my life. The worst time in my life was the 3 years of trying to build in mobile and failing because we didn't have the list and we didn't know how to settle the list.
Yep.
The second worst time in my life was feeling like you're insane, trying to pitch to these VCs to convey the market opportunity, to convey why this is so critical for the market, why we need to build this, why we need to get the funding to build it, the massive market opportunity, you name it, and everyone telling you no. You'll go crazy hearing that day after day. 5 people after 5 people telling you.
I think a lot of business owners or kind of directors of businesses will probably have a similar thing. For example, if sales are low one month, if issues happen, it's going to grind on you. It's going to kind of put you into a negative mindset. So what do you do, Brandon, to kind of bring up the positivity for yourself and your team if things like that happen?
I just focus on the solution. I don't focus on anything negative. I just focus on like, what is the solution? Like I'm obsessed with finding the answer. I don't care where the answer comes from. I don't care who on my team has the answer. I just want to find it, right? Like, let's just say we want to do $100 million in sales and we're at $50 million in sales. It's like, we've never done $100 million in sales before in a year. I want to do that. Like, okay, how do I do that? Like, what do I need to do in sales? What do I need to do in marketing? What do I need to do in customer success? What do I need to do in engineering? What are other companies that have done that done? And I study those companies to try to replicate, model, and clone what they've done to do what I want to do. Like, it's just a lot of research and tenacity to figure out what do we need to do that we're not doing today that we should be doing to get to where we want to go.
Awesome, man. And you've got some great videos on that, actually, that I'd recommend anyone listening or watching to kind of tune into, especially if it doesn't matter if you're in sales or if you're in business, where you talk about kind of what do you want to sell per month in terms of sales revenue or per year.
The $1 million sales math.
Exactly. And then break it down to, well, in your terms, the list. How many calls do you need to make? How many emails you need to send? How many social touches do you need to make, etc. Do all the calculations, do the mathematics, what's your average order value, times that by the amount of leads you need to convert an appointment, to convert a sale, add it all up. There you go, really. That's the work you've got to put in.
Yeah.
Which is great. Yeah. Great formula. I've used it myself. I like to call
it the 7-figure sales math. So you take $1 million, you divide it by your average commission. The average commission check that you get on a deal. Let's just say it's $10,000. So you take $1 million, what you want to make. I want to help you make $1 million a year. And even if you're at 50K and you're like, I don't believe $1 million, I could do $1 million a year. Let me tell you, like, if I could do it, you could do it. I didn't believe that I could make 6 figures in sales. And then I made 6 figures in sales. Then I always dreamed of making $1 million a year. And then I made $1 million a year in sales. My goal is to help you make $1 million in sales. And you take $1 million, you divide it by your average commission check. Let's just say it's 10,000. That means you need $100 for 100 deals for the year. Then you divide 100 divided by 12. And then you divide that number by 22 business days. That gives you the amount of deals that you need to close per day, every single day, per business day. And then you got to figure out your funnel. Like, how many leads does it take to book the appointments? And then how many appointments does it take to close the deals? And then once you have that, okay, the daily leads, the daily appointments needed, the daily deals needed, and no matter what, just do all the activity required to hit that daily target. And then you'll make $1 million a year. Like, it's simple, but it's obviously hard to execute. So you got to do the math to at least know, what do I need to do every day to make $1 million? And then figuring out the systems, the scripts, the lists, the technology, the people that you need to go do that.
And it sounds like it's, once you've worked out the maths, what it is you need to make $1 million per month or per year, or whatever your sales revenue targets are, it's all about putting in that activity. But not just any activity, the activity that will actually get results. So it doesn't matter whether you're doing it yourself or whether you've got a team of employees, of sales staff that do it, but they've got to put it in.
Oh yeah, you got to put in all the work. I mean, it takes a ton of work. It takes a ton of effort. It's a lot, and you just got to do it. You got to put it in.
Amazing. Okay, so Brandon, have you got any advice that you would give to anyone listening who's thinking about starting a business or has a startup business?
Yeah, my advice would be, I truly believe you're one list away from the business you want, the life you want, the marriage you want, the house you want, the family you want, the life, your dreams, your goals is just one list away. Figure out what your list is, what your niche is, build that list, and then sell to it like crazy. Leverage a multi-channel approach, sell to it. And, leverage all the sales channels, leverage all the marketing channels, and go after that one list, because you're just one list away, and you need to build that list. You need to contact those people, and you need to get them booked, and you need to close them, and you could do it.
It sounds so simple when you say it like that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
The list is the key. Awesome,
and don't quit. Like you're going to run into 1,000 problems. You'll underestimate the amount of problems, the amount of hassle, the amount of capital, the amount of heartache, the amount of legal, everything you'll underestimate, and just don't underestimate anything. Imagine that it will take 10 years. Imagine that it'll be 10 years of headaches and problems. But if you have a solution oriented mindset, No matter what problem I run into, I will search for the solution. I will find it and I will overcome it. I will run through the wall, around the wall, climb the wall. I will get through that problem wall, no matter what, whatever it takes. Like I hope people listening and following me like realize that I just do whatever it takes. I'm not smart. I'm not special. I didn't come from a special family. I didn't come from a smart family. I just will do whatever it takes. If that means working 7 days a week, I work 7 days a week. If it means I have to travel every week to a different state, I'll travel every week for a different state. If it means I got to cold call for 5 hours, it means I'll cold call for 5. If it means I have to learn paid advertising and I got to write Facebook ads, I'll write Facebook ads. Or Google ads or whatever. If I got to learn how to build funnels, I'll learn how to build funnels and landing pages. You just have to do whatever it takes. I've never pitched venture capitalists before. I had to learn that and then I had to figure it out. You just have to have that whatever it takes mindset to be successful. And if I could do it, you could do it. And I look up to the people that have done things that I've want to do. And I look at them and I'm like, dude, if he could do it or she could do it, I could do it. I just have to learn what did they do. And then I have to model what they've done and then go do that thing. For me, the way that I've been successful and the way that my family built the first billion-dollar software company and the way that I've built 3 multi-million-dollar companies and I became a self-made millionaire in sales and as an entrepreneur is through the list. And that's just my experience. And I believe that's the vehicle that you need. The only way to exponentially increase your sales is with the list. The only way to build your lists is with a platform like Seamless.AI. And, I would just study and model the people that have done what you want to do and then go do it and do whatever it takes to make that happen.
So any people with their own businesses start up, got an existing business, the kind of 3 takeaways from this, it sounds like, is build up the list, kind of work out the maths, as in kind of what do you need to be doing.
The 7-figure sales math.
The 7-figure sales maths, or math if you're in the US, and put in the activity
Absolutely.
that will get you the results.
1,000%. It's
Amazing.
You do the 7-figure sales math, you build your list, then you sell to that list, you market to that list like crazy.
Fantastic. Brandon, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've learned loads. I'm sure everyone listening and watching has learned a ton. So I'm sure you're an inspiration to many business people and aspiring entrepreneurs across the globe. What I like to ask everyone that comes on the show to finish is if you could thank just one person, dead or alive, for having a positive influence on yourself and your career, who would that be and why?
Yeah, 2 people. One, my father, who taught me sales is the greatest profession in the world. I barely saw my father. He was gone on the road, my whole childhood. But he taught me, again, if you work hard and you master how to sell and you find the people that you need to sell to, you can make all of your goals and dreams a reality. And I'm thankful that he taught me that, even though he wasn't around in my life a lot because he was traveling, selling all the time. And then also my fiance, Danielle, who's been with me since my first company when I was 18. We've been through 3 startups, 2 sales careers together. Whenever I doubt myself, she helps tell me it's just temporary. You got this, you could do this.
That's what women do, man. They keep us in shape. They keep us in line.
Yeah.
When are you getting married, by the way? Congratulations.
Gosh, we've been dating for 12 years. So we've been together for 12 years. We've been engaged. I don't even know how many years. We're just so happy. We don't do anything that the norms do, like the masses. We just do what we want to do. We got to find time to figure out when we're going to have time because building Seamless, 60 people, and we're traveling all over the world now and doing the different book tours. So it's tricky, but whenever she wants to get married, I'm in. Yeah. So I let Danielle and my father, Dave, they've just been huge inspirations, and I'm grateful to have them in my life. And then, lastly, my team, I know I'm going over, but nothing in the world gets done without amazing talent and amazing people. From the people that I worked with starting off in building Seamless, like Austin, Jake, Mike, all my partners, Kurt, Rick, to the engineers, the developers, the salespeople, the marketing people, my customer success genius team. Like, I'm grateful because I'm surrounded by geniuses every day who are so much smarter than I am. And I just want to make sure I empower them to make the biggest impact on the world for us and for our vehicle and for what they're trying to do. And without the team and without the people and without the right inner circle, you can't get anything done. So I'm grateful for my father and Danielle, and then my amazing team at Seamless, just making the impossible possible every day to empower the world to connect to opportunity.
Amazing, man. Amazing. It's awesome that you've kind of got these old friends that you've worked with over the years from college and stuff. Like I was touching on earlier, I've actually been in a similar situation. Nearly all the businesses that I've been involved in, I've always worked with close friends. Or, for example, one of the directors that our company now is one of my cousins. So I really like that kind of, not necessarily a homey feel, but I don't know, there's something about it. I'm sure
like when
you
find genius in people, like, I've got two video geniuses, Mason and Nick. Like, for the rest of their lives, I will always be trying to make sure that they work for us or work for me, and we do amazing video things. Like, my genius VP of technology, Austin, he's a guru. Like, when you find these people, when you find genius in product, Jake, or genius in sales like Mike, or genius in customer success like David, or genius recruiter like Hannah, like, these are people that I want to work with for the rest of my life because they're so smart and they're so incredibly talented that, my genius inside sales director, Adam, like, these are just, and I can't even name, like, I would name off all 60 people, right, if I had time, but you want to, like, wherever I go, I'm bringing the top talent with me. And I only like, life is too short. So I only want to surround myself with top talent. So I won't let anyone in Seamless that I do not think is a top 1% talent, because I want to get smarter. I want to get better. I want everyone at my company to get better, to elevate, to get smarter, to deliver more value to our users and our customers. And it just requires the best of the best.
Brandon, I know we're going off on a tangent here. If you've got a few more minutes, it would be interesting to know, because I'm sure kind of business people listening would like to understand, how do you hire the top kind of talent? It doesn't matter if it's sales professionals, if it's recruitment.
Yeah, this is easy. I can knock this out in 1 second. Hire the best recruiter in the world to work full-time at your company. Like, because they know how to do it.
Yeah, makes sense.
If I could go back in time, I would have hired a full-time recruiter as my number one hire. You like two things I would have done from the beginning. Number one, I would have raised millions of dollars in funding from the beginning. Number two, I would have hired the world's best recruiter. Hannah is one of our genius recruiters, and she's incredible. One, because she puts up with me. Two, she hires all the amazing people here who are much smarter than I am at Seamless. And I wish I hired her years ago, because she would have just kept making Seamless amazing with the right people, with the right intelligence, building the right things. You just keep elevating and elevating and elevating. So my recommendation is, don't worry about the money. Hire the number one recruiter to work full-time at your company, and they will find the right people.
Amazing. Brandon, I could literally talk to you all day, but we're running out of time. And I really appreciate it, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. Like I said, we've learned a whole ton. It's been nothing but enjoyable. I'd like to say the show is sponsored by webchoiceuk.com, a results-driven digital marketing, web development, application development company. You've been listening to Sam's Business Growth Show, where we interview business leaders, experts, and entrepreneurs from around the world. We find out their story, how digital has helped them along the way, and their exclusive insights and tips. Brandon, before we go, tell us a bit about your company. Tell us how people can find you and what you can do.
Yeah, well, you guys heard about my company, my story, but you can follow me. I do a daily newsletter. You could join Seamless.AI for free, not only to get my daily strategies, tips, scripts, and best practices, but also you'll get hundreds of leads free, where you can find anyone's emails and phone numbers at Seamless.ai. Just go to the site and join it. And then also follow me on LinkedIn. My goal is to share daily content that helps you go from 5 figures to 6 figures, 6 figures to 7 figures, 7 figures to 8 figures in sales as fast as humanly possible, that you could apply today to make more money. So I'm posting content on LinkedIn all the time. Unfortunately, once you hit 30,000 connections, they don't let you connect with anyone else, which really pisses me off.
When are they going to change that?
I don't like why. Like, just let
get it.
people let you connect with people. I don't get it. Because then you look like an asshole because like people can still send you a connection request, but you can't accept it. Like it won't let me.
I didn't know that. I'm only on 10K, I think, connections.
Yeah. So like
I didn't know that.
once you hit the limit, people can send them to you, but you can't accept it, which is like stupid.
That's for shame.
So long story short, follow me on LinkedIn. I'll see that you're following me. I'd love to engage with you. I'd love to learn more about you. And we're here to help you make all of your goals and dreams a reality in sales, marketing, entrepreneurship, recruiting. And to close it off again, I believe you're just one list away from the life you want, the marriage you want, the products you want, the cars you want, the houses you want. You're just one list away. And I'm excited to help you find that list, sell that list, and make all of your goals and dreams a reality.
The list is the key, guys. Brandon, thank you so much. It's been amazing. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Humbled, grateful, and hope this helps at least one person out there.
Thank you for listening to Sales Secrets with Brandon Bornancin. If you enjoyed the show, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss an episode that drops on the daily. Your success is our success. This show is sponsored by Seamless.AI, the world's best sales leads. Get direct dials, emails, and cell phones for anyone in seconds. Request an invite to join for free at Seamless.AI. That's Seamless.AI.